So I got my stats here, and this is just from this week. And one thing that I noticed that I do need to cut down on is, I overtrade. So 66
You
trading,
already took 66.
right? Y- yeah, 66 trades this week, and that is a lot. Especially for the results that I got, and my biggest trade was on Mara, $1,700. Um, $1,700, and I also had 500 on MGOG and XTD for, like, this was like my pretty much equaled out my week, and it was one, two, three, just three trades, and it was just like really good setups, and all the other stuff, just kept me at pretty much at break even. Um, I even have the calendar. So Monday, 2,600. Tuesday, 1,500. Wednesday, I lost $278. Thursday, I only made $26. And Friday, I lost $528.27. So these are all net profit. So after commissions and fees and all that. So far for the week, I'm only up $3,359.24. Good way to start, but definitely, you know, made a lot of dumb mistakes, especially on the last 3 days. Um, so I even have my patterns and my win rate. So,
Use the one from. I'm sorry to
oh, go
interrupt
ahead.
you, but you used the. Did you use the one from the Humble Trader,
You
the
did.
spreadsheet?
You said did I use the from where?
Yeah, her Humble Trader, like
Yeah,
her spreadsheet.
it
Yeah,
was it's
I
her
see.
spreadsheet. Yep. But I made a lot of modifications to it. Like as far as with the whole tracking this part, this is all hers. The extra stuff that I added on here is this, that, the calendar part I added, and also the win rate I added to be able to track the patterns. So
Okay, I like that.
so far, first red day, that's really my bread and butter. I mean, I only took two first red day for Nasdaq. I took zero for first red day on OTC. OTC green to red short, that's been very successful for me. The ascending triangle, I'm just learning this. And definitely shout out to Dan on his course. I bought the course and it's very very informative. Um, Sector momentum, I'm at 69%. Day one broken chart, 33%. For some reason, it wasn't really working that well this week, at least for the lines that I was choosing. Low hanging fruit, that's due to bingo or BNGO. So as the month, I mean, I'm not holding these stats like as the holy grail because it's just 1 week. So I definitely need more sample size. I know 66 straight it is a lot, but still need more sample size to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm gonna focus on. Because look, OTC breakout 100%. Like that's not me. I mean, I am getting better at it, but so far, I mean, I took one trade and it was a winning trade. So then VWAP break, I took one trade and that was winning. I've been doing a lot of no pattern trades, like just random, just playing based upon price action. So definitely need to cut that out because there's a 25% rate. And even though it's not a big sample size, there's no reason I should just be playing random patterns. OTC dip buy, I think I took maybe three, 33% bounce short. Um, I took three trades, same thing. OTC afternoon buy 50, low hanging fruit. We already talked about that. and these are the percentage. So I wanted to even dive a little bit more deeper into the numbers as well. Like I wanted to find out, okay, yes, those are the percentage, those are good and dandy, but what is my average gain or average loss on it? So actually gotta created this column here. So for first red day, even though it's at a 75%, average win is like 74.92. OTC green to red short 80%. I'm only making on average about $102. Ascending triangle, this is a very low percentage, 38%, but I'm losing on average about $19 or 20 bucks. Sector momentum, that's where a lot of my big wins come from. I mean, granted, I did have one big one, so that does make the number a little bit higher. But that's 271. Day one broken chart. On average, I'm losing about $73. Low hanging fruit 59. OTC afternoon buy 69. Even though I'm at a 50% win rate, but on average, I'm losing about $69 70 bucks. Then the short bounce, 19 bucks. OTC dip buy, even though it's 33%, making about 87 bucks. No pattern, I'm losing about $16 because I typically do cut really fast. VWAP break, that was only one trade and I made 250 on it. And OTC breakout, I made 90 bucks on it. So those are just stats that I'm going forward. I'm just gonna keep an eye on, so that way, not to only know what I'm doing, but to be able to adjust. One thing about trading, once you know the numbers and you have a mathematical formula behind it, you should be able to pivot and just go the other way, because you just can't keep doing the same thing and expecting to get the same results. So that's just my current stats right now. Um, so now I'm just gonna dive into just a few trades. Of course, I'm gonna do the NX Mara. So Mara, MARA, was a Bitcoin stock, and of course Bitcoin has been running. The only regret that I have on Mara was me not holding it, because as you could see, this, it, yeah, it doubled.
But it's crazy that that thing was like at 99 cents
Yeah,
like some months ago, and I was just like, bro, this thing can't even break $1,
yep.
and now look at it.
And I was buying it on the anticipation
Yeah,
like of Bitcoin breaking, $10,000. So, but yeah. But one thing I liked about Mara, and the way that I had played it was, I noticed before Christmas, how the market was like a half day, and we're gonna have those long stretches of break. I think 4 days, and then after Christmas, I was supposed to buy Mara on this. What is it? It was like on one of these days. What was Christmas? 23rd. Yep. So I was supposed to buy it on this day here, and for some reason, I forgot about it. Had to go, went over family's house. Let me just show you how it looked, because I figured that this was gonna happen, and my thesis was over the break, Bitcoin would break out, um, due to it was gonna be 4 days since due to the market was gonna be closed. I figured that Bitcoin was gonna break out, and and it sure enough did. What was it at? 20. And plus Mara was like beaten up. So this is, I think, right around the time Bitcoin was maybe at like 19,000, $19,000 or 20,000, and this was still dropping low, dropping down. So I was supposed to buy it after hours, but I didn't. And of course, as soon as the break was over and the market opened back up, have this huge gap up, and got to a high of $14 there in pre-market just over the break. So the same thing was setting up for New Year's. Mara was getting beaten up as well. Get the 1 year. Yeah, it was like getting beaten up, just red candle after red candle on the daily. And my thesis was, okay, since I missed it on this particular day, I'm just gonna buy it and hold it over the weekend, because giving it 4 days, and my thesis was like Bitcoin would at least break out to the 30s. Had 1,000 shares, and sure enough, it ended up breaking out. Went to the 30s. So pre-market I sold because I saw that I was up instantly, $1,800 during pre-market. I was like, let me just take it. I could always rebuy back if it starts surging when the market opened. Did that. And that was really just the thesis between Mara and NXTD, as well as MGO. Both of them just gapped up. So that was my best trade. My worst trade for this week was, I think, NX MGO. Alright, so the reason why this was the worst trade, let's see here. See what date it was. Yep, $415, and I had 2,700 shares, and that was on 7717. Alright, so it was on this particular day. And just to show you what I was looking at, alright, so I was looking at this this triangle right here. That's what I was trying to play it off of. So really with the ascending triangle, you have this downtrend. As soon as the trend reverses, that's the area for you to enter. So I entered right here, and I mean, it was a good entry. And the rule of thumb is once you get in this trade, and if it don't surge, or you have like a red candle like this and it gets right back to your entry, you need to immediately just get out, because it's not working. Because for the thesis, it's this play gotta work right away. If it doesn't work right away, you need to get out. So for me, I saw this candle, and during this candle right here, I was like, yeah, it might be able to bounce. It still haven't, crossed over here. So I try to be a little patient when I shouldn't have been. And another thing that I found out later is the reason why this little downturn happened was because Bitcoin, once it reached 40,000, had this nasty sell off. So the sell off caused panic with other buyers, and they were just getting out. So I end up with the 2,700 shares that I had, end up cutting it like down here. So for that one, I it was all on me because I should have been aware. Should have had the Bitcoin chart like pulled up on the side. So it wasn't really the pattern itself. It was just since this is moving solely based upon Bitcoin, I should have Bitcoin up because had I saw that dumped, that would have been the second signal because the first red flag was okay. This already dumped next to where you got in at, so you just need to get out just for a quick loss. And the second mistake that I made was not having Bitcoin chart up because like I said it just had this nasty dump on Bitcoin. Of course, it did bounce back, which is this little recovery. Um, but yeah, so I lost $415 off of this trade based upon my entry and my exit. Um, and one thing that I have been noticing too, like the ascending triangle, like if you follow it to the T, it definitely will work. One thing that I'm gonna actually stop doing the ascending triangle until I get my uh, E-Trade account fully funded, and I'm just gonna designate that for that account only because with Cobra, with the ECN fees and the commission and stuff like that, it wouldn't be as wise to try to play that pattern with it. So certain patterns require certain brokers. So I think E-Trade will probably be my broker of choice or TD Ameritrade to be able to do this pattern because had a lot of great entries on it here. Made $555. Uh, XNET. That one I got shaken out of, and again it was the same thing as before. Like it didn't work, and instead of me just cutting it, like how in Dan's guide he suggests, like if it's not working, like immediately just cut it. Like this is not a pattern that you're supposed to be patient on. So for this, I wasn't patient. I was patient, and I end up losing $302. So as the week started progressing, especially for that type of pattern, I have been making the adjustment of just cutting it if it's not working immediately. So hence why, my even though I have a 38% win rate, um, making about I'm losing about 20 bucks on it. And the last thing I do want to show, because I think this pattern for even though it would mess up the win rate, because if you taking like small losses here and there, it would mess up your win rate. But win rate, to me now, I'm starting to look at it. Win rate is really doesn't matter. It's really if you're profitable or not. Because people could have a low win rate. Because I think my win rate is like 61%. And if you look at, I think Dan's, his is like maybe like 40 or 50. But this guy,
Yeah, I think his is way higher now though because you said like all of that time. Well, he trades a whole lot, and all of that time where he was unprofitable.
yeah. So for me, I just want to, don't even because sometimes I used to think about my win rate and stuff like that. I just want to trade the patterns, how
Yeah,
it's supposed to be traded. So now having some data behind me, I could really focus in more. But really, that was some of the most memorable trades because all the other ones really were just me cutting for small losses, and yeah. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Right.
If I can get this thing out. Okay, there we go.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it now.
All right. So, from this week, uh, now I am different on the win percentage. I do believe it does hold some type of importance. But it really depends on the type of trader you are right now. So right now, you see, just from this past week, I've been winning. I took 10 trades, and right now I'm winning 80% and 20%. And don't pay attention to the profit factor right now. That'd be wild if that was a whole month. But right now it's an incredible 20.8, which means I'm getting in the trades and I am working some of my edge to dive into some of the my mistakes though that I made throughout the week. Well, let me show you guys my week actually been my new best week overall, making 2.3. And it
Nice.
was actually really, yeah, it was thank you, I appreciate it, but it was actually really cool to see how I actually got the 2.3k, because if you guys been watching lately, you would know that my favorite pattern has been OTC penny dip buy. But throughout this whole first week in January, the OTC panic dip buy, there is only one opportunity. Well, I would say, yeah, only two opportunities. And you can see that there was only one where I made the beginning one, and where I only made 198 bucks. These ones I lost 47. This one I made 58. So has not been my most profitable strategy so far this month. And the most profitable strategy so far this month has been coming from the OTC breakouts, because of all of that just sector momentum coming from Bitcoin. And since I've just been studying and tracking the data, I felt like I had an edge within. I feel like my confidence has gotten a little bit up with just being more comfortable, taking more size, and that has translated into just having getting a bigger week, especially because I'm recognizing the market was still hot with that sector momentum from Bitcoin. So I knew I had to take opportunity just when it's here. Going into some important trades of the week, I would say. Another thing I want to point out is just you see my losses and how they are so small compared to the significant wins of the wins that are around 10%. Where this win is 400, another 10% win 600, 300, 300. That is that's risk reward. That's you making sure your profit factor is going to be right. That's To me, that's what trading is about right now, at least. So to dive into some charts, we had COUV at the beginning of the week, and COUV was actually a very weak play. And if you just paid attention to like the level two of the play, you could kind of see that it was just wasn't the most fluid stock on the level two. That's the reason I cut right here. Then I saw that this was a great opportunity to re-add and not just take it off my screen and use this as okay, it's made another lower low, but this is the green red line right here at 0.36. It then based off at 0.0395. I'm in at freaking right under 40 cents. So I'm risking 395 pretty much from here to here. It just offers me a real good risk reward. And I sold almost at the top, which was very cool. The reason I sold at the top was I like selling into volume. That's one of my big things that I want to get better at. I did start off, I will say I started off with it within a month, but still have some mistakes that I have to, still have some mistakes and things that I have to work on. That's the thing about trading. I feel like, especially if you want to be really good at it, like you can never be satisfied because there's always something that you could have done better.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what, you could have took more size at the end of the day. Even if you traded your plan to the T, there will always be that factor like I could have gone bigger. And just recognizing that you'll never be perfect in trading, but what I like to say is I'll never be perfect, but I want to trade with perfect intentions.
Right.
And that's how pretty much I've been trying to focus. My focus has been going into this month. So yeah, had a nice little win with Cove. RDR didn't really pan out as well. It was a weak dip buy. It didn't bounce off as much. Didn't bounce as much as you see as a sub penny. Normally I don't play sub pennies, but it was because it might have been the only penny dip buy of the day. And I was just like, all right, I haven't seen one of these in a while, so let me try. Only really wasn't that really wasn't even worth the trade, to be honest. Um, TLLS, I didn't give this one enough time to really work. You see, I almost pretty much it was break even trade. Um, when it came to that Tuesday, see, it was my lowest day of the week. It was cool because let me pull up my trader view stats and go over the last. It's cool because I've been on this kind of streak so far. I had this one red day back on the 21st, but freaking since the 9th of December, I've been pretty much green, 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 green. And that's just showing me that I found a process and I'm finding consistency in that process and I'm sticking to that edge. No, like I'm sticking to my process because that's where I have that edge. I'm not going out and trying to look for random plays. I'm playing simply by setup. And like I said, freaking, I think it was last week, I don't, as a new trader, which I still am, I feel like if you don't have over 100K in profits, you don't have time for random setups. Uh, so Tuesday really wasn't that important. Just pretty much a break even day. Wednesday as well, break even. Now Thursday was I would consider this the biggest day for me personally in trading. There was a time where I made over like thousand-ish, but it was out of luck and it was back in the summer. So this was a day where I actually knew exactly what the heck I was doing, and I
I don't.
executed my plans on this.
I don't think it was luck though. I mean, you saw it too. It was
On I on IBIO. I mean, I guess it wasn't luck, but it was too much. Like
because if
it
you
was too much faith in the market. You know what I'm saying? The market did everything. Like which the market does do everything because my plan was literally just to buy it into the close, let it gap up,
yeah.
and then I took a position size that was $8,000, and I made like 1.9. So just like okay, I just took a size that was way too big for me when I was at that stage in my career, and I got lucky at the end of the day. That was luck. Because I'll be looking like a fool if I went the other direction and I took a loss that was
Right.
1.9. But this came from setups this Thursday, which was the 7th, and I'm gonna go over those. So we had like I said, we had the sector momentum from BTCS. I really should go over Wednesday too. Well, I'll go back over it. But all right, so we had that sector momentum from Bitcoin, and we had BTC. Oh, give me 1 second. Yes. All right. So this came from this play right here on the 7th. You can see that on this day it broke out. On the 6th it actually broke out. But the 7th I want to play it for the continued breakout. I count those as like breakouts, but non-ideal. What I know from those types of plays is that they can at least run 50%. And since Bitcoin was very, very strong, like I knew that there was potential like for, just even more continuation over 50%. But anyway, it was a quick, simple play just from tracking the breakouts and seeing how they act in the morning, and just a whole lot of screen time. At this point of the day, I think this was only up like 40% on the day. So I was just looking for a 5% pullback. Gave me a 5% pullback, like seeing things for the bigger picture. This was actually an okay sale, I'm not gonna lie, because it was selling right into pretty much the top, I will say. But one thing I do have to see is like this 20 when it offered a 20% off right here, from because it really just ran straight up that morning, gave a little dip. I knew because the people who missed this initial run up, there we really be wanting to get in right here, and I believe that's why this first dip kind of pattern works, because this gives the opportunity for everyone who missed this initial surge, gives a little bit of opportunity, and everyone's trying to rush to buy in. And when people rush to buy in, I just sell quickly because I don't know exactly how high the thing will go.
Hmm. It is it
But
normally close around VWAP as well when the pullback happened, or?
yeah, it is closer around VWAP as well. I'm glad you said something about that. I want you to notice how it kind of pissed off 2, 3 times around this pivot point, which this was around VWAP at the time. So right here, boom, boom, another time right around here. But this area right here is when this was the perfect opportunity to buy, and I missed out on it because this was where the most amount of fear was, right in there. And if you looked at the bigger picture, the chart was really still intact. Um, but this was, yeah, like I said, this was the most amount of fear, and it gave you the best risk reward, only risking off that low potentially to get over high day. But that's just something to note for next time. hopefully on a weed sector momentum run. But see, this thing is all the way up to $1.58 now. So what I'm expecting on Monday is that morning panic dip buy. Hopefully it comes. So I'll just play whatever opportunity it presents. Then later throughout that day, I had BTSC, which was another Bitcoin stock. I know the names are very similar, but one is they just switched to CS and one is SC. So on this one was a complete afternoon trade. See, this one was completely from risk reward. So I did screw this trade up, though. Like in hindsight, thinking about it. Okay, so I saw that this been just kind of sideways consolidating all the throughout the day, but you see that it's broken out. This is the breakout line that it was at. This previous line right around here, 0.025, 0.026, wherever you want to call it, right around there. It was over this breakout line, and I entered this stock right here at 0.026, right here, and it was pretty break even trade. If it gets under this 0.025 line, I cut for a small loss. If it doesn't, let the winner ride. But and for some reason, I didn't think that this would be as strong as it was. I knew the risk reward on this trade that the chart was giving me was at 0.03, 0.03, and I just sold as soon as I got to 10%, which is just not the most efficient way to trade. What I should have done is, looking back in hindsight, is just scale out. Selling portions, sell half here, and then if I get that pop over 0.032, my 20% mark was at 0.0312, and I could have maybe just sold a little bit past that because I saw how strong this volume candle was. So just getting more patient on the afternoon plays and really seeing them work out, especially when you have like good opportunities like this. Like in the moment, I think I was in a group message and I was literally talking out that this was the best chart of the day. Bitcoin was hot. Best risk reward. Like this was it right here. And then I just sold because I was just like, all right, I made 10%. Cool.
Yeah, those stocks was strong.
And this day that was 900. Yeah, the Bitcoin was freaking crazy this week. And hopefully, that I get a opportunity to panic dip by this because it is overextended. You see, it's all the way at 0.09, but even the panic dip buy might be harder on this stock in general because you see this sell off, and then it didn't really give no type of recovery on the bounce. And I'll go over that because I did trade this stock again the next following day because I knew that normally when I mess up on the first day, there's still opportunity going into that next day, and that's exactly what I did. And this was I would say this is a pretty well executed trade by me, but still, again, it's just trying to let my winners run. That is my biggest problem so far. It's not like I don't have the statistics behind it, so I should be convicted behind it, but I'm just in the moment. I get emotional. I might take a glimpse of my P&L, and then I'll be like, oh, snap. Well, I'm out. Got my little 10%, I'm out. But 10%, it works really well for OTC panic dip buys, but for breakouts, like you have the opportunity to at least make 50% on is deemed successful. So imagine if I just held my original position right here from 0.026 and see that thing got all the way up to 9.
Yeah.
Is patience. I don't know if I will ever have that type of patience.
Right.
But that is something to really just think about. Like, what way can I play this to my edge that it fits my, personality? Am I better at just, taking taking the what am I trying to say?
The meat of the move.
Taking the yeah, I mean, not what I'm trying to say is yeah, the meat of the move, but taking the in the chart, am I better at taking the predictable part of the move that I find a specific edge in? Because you don't really know how high these things will really go,
Right.
or where these things will actually go. All you know is during a specific point on the chart through statistics and tracking, this this spot that I'm entering gives me the most edge that I see will happen.
Right.
Doesn't you cut? If it does, okay, cool, you're right. But am I better at just taking that bit by bit? Am I better at trying to really trying to see bigger picture and into that more of a home run mentality because I know the setup is very, very strong? Or should I just keep doing what I'm doing and maybe take more size within like that predictable setup and just try to get a little bit over 10, maybe 20%? It's just food for thought, just something that's just been sitting on my mind.
Do you ever
Um,
see any, like, let's say you enter the trade, you take the profit, then it dips a little bit and consolidate. Do you ever see any re-entry points on the charts that you could get back in, or?
so yeah, I can go over that. Um, this right here. Uh, because this one gave me another like kind of opportunity right here to enter. So yes, let me pull this one up. All right, so was my entries and exits from yesterday on this chart in particular. This is right in the morning time where you have the most amount of edge. So just from watching MIC videos too, I automatically created this own rule just for myself personally. On OTC stocks, you lose your edge around 11 a.m. majority of the time. Comes to from 11 a.m. all the way to 1:30. That's midday. That's when you don't like. It's more choppy things. You really don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see, there are some standouts like Bitcoin yesterday. It was so strong in the midday. When it broke over this high, I saw this happening, but it's just like, should I stick to my rules because I saw how strong the stock was, or should I take a chance? And was just on the side of caution. And you can see this could have been the perfect entry point because this is almost, I wouldn't call it a swizzle like, but it is very like close where it was tightening, getting real tight in the range,
Mm-hmm.
especially right in the minute candles, and then it gave you that little pop right here, that volume, and this was the sign like, okay, this thing is clearly stronger and clearly has a whole lot more or to it. It really came from that previous one where it just popped over 1 million right here on the minute candles chart. But that was a key sign that I saw, and I still was just like, I'm just going to continue to stick to my edge. And more times than not, my edge does, pan out where it's just like it's 11 o'clock, just stay away because mainly like the stocks don't do anything midday, and majority of the time when they do stuff midday, they end up like this where they run midday and you can't play them into the afternoon, which kind of sucks because I did try to rebuy this right here once it pretty much gradually faded down 30% on a pop, and I got in right here again at 0.0646, risking off of this low at 0.0626. And I didn't even take profits nowhere here. I let this winner kind of turn into a loser. Well, I did let the winner turn into a loser. And but well, it's just because I thought this was going to be way stronger than it was, and I guess at the time you said that Bitcoin was selling off.
Hmm.
I was expecting to at least sell into 0.073 ish, and it once it gave me that just 0.071, and then like there was just a big seller that came out of nowhere on a level two. I tried not to get scared by the level two, and when it just fell and fell and fell, and then really I should have cut right here when it broke under this little pivot. Looking back in hindsight, and that's something to note for next time. But when it broke right there, I was just like, dang, like it'll make a higher low in a sense, and it, it didn't. So I had to cut right there, which was still like, I mean, it's still like a smooth on the risk reward side. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just food for thought. Like when stocks do break over that midday high, yeah, they have big gains or big potential, but then it kind of disrupts my edge going into the afternoon. Um. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. Just throughout this week, you see, I haven't taken that many trades.
I need to get like you, bro.
Yeah,
Cause yeah, that over trading. Not only that,
you,
I'm
bro. My thing is like I catch when you like about to do some BS, bro. Like
yeah
when you
you.
just in the middle of the day, it'll be like 12 o'clock. I'm like, bro, go do something else. Like, what you do? What you talking about? Talking about some? Yeah, bro. I got in GRNQ. I'm in 210, 217. Like, bro. All right. Well, what's that? What does that really mean? Overall, some pretty good this month. Just trying to work on letting my edge work when another breakout happens again. Trying to just working in on not getting so emotional, selling right at 10%, trying to sell in pieces on breakouts because I believe that's the best way for breakouts for me, with my personality in general. Because I do believe as a trader who wants to be profitable, you have to take profits. You can't just hold for home runs the whole entire way. That's just you're just gonna be in an emotional state the whole time in a trade, and you won't be able to think as clearly.
Right.
So just working in on seeing in the moment, okay, I have freaking 200 or 200,000 shares. All right, selling some at 10% whenever that edge is met, some at 20, and keeping it very very simple like that. Still gonna maybe keep sizing up because sizing up. I feel more comfortable, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel I feel comfortable with taking more size, especially knowing that the market is still hot, and I don't know how hot, how long it'll last. So I want to be able to, take take as much of it as I can while it's here.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something that I did this week was taking profits as it's coming instead of trying to get 1,000, 2,000. Because normally after I make like
For sure.
$1,000 or $2,000 a day, I'm looking for that like every day. But
Yeah, I know I don't come into any day with any expectations too. That's one thing I've been good at so far. Like every day I'm expecting something different. Like,
mhm.
I do have plans, don't get me wrong. But if those plans don't happen, I'm not like, oh dang. I'm really focusing in on trading only when one of my edges is met. If none of my edges are met, I'm fine with not even taking a trade that day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm definitely gonna get back to when I was under PDT, just taking selective trading. So I know I say this like every week, but I'm definitely gonna start doing that.
Yeah, bro. You gotta. If you traded less, you would see more, and
Right.
I know you would
Less is more.
because yeah.